What's up with the fam? Thank you for tuning into BYOB.
Welcome back.
Well, we believe the Bible is basically instruction before leaving Earth. And our goal as BYOB is to bridge the gap between the believer and the Bible. So we're excited about what God is doing and what the word is saying. With that being said, make sure you like this video, share this video, comments below. Let us know what you think while we live. Tell somebody it's BYOB and we are live.
Yeah, I am excited about what the word is saying. Today, as y'all can see, we are entering a new book for our study. And I have a question that I want to ask, and I hope that you guys can chime in the chat below. I want you to take a look at this backdrop and tell me what you think it represents. And then we will chime in on the chat a little bit and we'll continue our discussion. But I want you guys to chime in the chat and tell me what your thoughts are on the backdrop that we have for today. What does it represent? What does it mean? And we'll share out a little bit later in the broadcast. Well, as you guys know, we have been studying the Bible, or our endeavors to study the Bible, in its entirety. Now, we are not going chapter to chapter, verse for verse.
Okay.
However, we are hitting each book and unveiling or revealing the theme, I guess you would say, for each book. How do each one of these books that have been collected together, how do they each in their individuality point to Jesus? And what's the story that was told from the very beginning? And how does it affect my now? And those were questions that I, as a believer, as a reader, posed. So as we developed this Bible study, it was like, okay, I want people to be able to see Jesus, number one, from the beginning. But I also want them to see the relevancy of what the scripture was saying back then and how it applies to their right now. So let us do a little recap really quickly, because today we are in the book of Ruth. And then from Ruth, we're going to do 1 Samuel's, but we're only going to do chapters 1 through 15 today.
Okay.
So last week we did Joshua and Judges. Well, it's almost like I gotta keep going back to the beginning because somebody's gonna miss it, and I want you to see
they got from
the beginning.
You're doing a recap.
So
good.
It's a quick recap.
Run it down.
So far we have done Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges. Right? Genesis is where the promise began. A redemptive plan was put in place for us. Exodus, God rescues his people, like they leave Egypt and they're on their way to the promised land. Leviticus taught us how to live with the holy God, because now he decided to come and dwell with his people. They built the tabernacle, you have the Ark of the Covenant, all of these things. Numbers, unbelief delayed their promise. So as the children of Israel are in the desert and the wilderness and all of these things, we keep saying the old heads were dying off. The younger ones did not know the God of their forefathers. They didn't remember the promise, none of the things, right? Moses is begging, guys, don't forget. Please remember. Deuteronomy, you got to remember the covenant. That's what he was talking about in Deuteronomy, because I was stuck on the word remember. I remember Ashley and Pastor RG3. They was like, wow, you chased the squirrel and you were gone.
But remember
was the thing that stuck with me, and what I remembered, what stuck with me most. I'll say it that way. Then in Joshua, the promise of the land, that promised land that they were promised, that he was promised way back when, it was fulfilled. They get to enter into the promised land, but then we get into Judges, and then the chaos starts to happen because the people forgot the thing Moses was begging them not to do in Deuteronomy. They forgot it by the time we're in Judges. They do not have leaders anymore, per se. Moses is dead. Joshua's gone.
Yeah.
So this is when the judges come in. God is speaking, through the judges and all of that. And here we are transitioning into the book of Ruth.
Yeah, still chaos with the judges.
It's still chaos
so
with the
now
judges.
You got this trying to figure their way out because God is using the judge to correct them. So right where you at, ending with the judges, he giving us this insight on this individual and their family. Yeah.
I think on last week we ended with as while we were kind of in the story a little bit, we ended with how even though they weren't saying, "Hey, give us a king, we need a king," and they had candidates of who they wanted. Like it wasn't necessarily like that, but they showed that there was a need for leadership. They showed that there was a need for somebody to like constantly remind them in a way of their God, of their ways, because they forgot.
But the judge was good because God putting that in place coming after Moses, then Joshua. He said, "Judge, now God trying to deal with them differently than everybody else," which we're gonna get into in First Samuel because that's when you start dealing with the kings. But that's like everybody else because the king finna tax you. You got leadership, but it's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
God giving you somebody to kind of reason with you, to judge some of your action. No, that was too much. You're doing wrong. But he's trying to give you this free, spirited place where you could trust him. He can commune with him. You can have a relationship with him, but you go too far, so he's trying to bring you back. And then when you get the king in play, you can pay them taxes. Everything's going to cost you to have leadership. And I think he was just trying to give them a different model so they can learn to trust his voice. And I think every leader go through that. And I think it speaks to, us today. Everybody needs leadership. We speak to people that say, I ain't got to go to church. I can go to God on my own. True.
Very true.
But you need a leadership. You need a structure to help you there.
And God uses people.
It's a model
to be a blessing. Yeah. God uses people.
Everybody.
Yeah.
There's nowhere in scripture where you don't find that, and that leadership, that principle is necessary. It's just like a kid can say, "I can learn how to read." You can, but it will behoove you to go to school. It behoove you listen to that reading and language art teacher, and then help you with your math. You can figure it out, but at the same time, you getting the advanced knowledge of a teacher to walk you through, which accelerate the process of you graduating and matriculating as it relates to your education. That's the same thing about Christ.
Student.
Come on now. I am a student. So when you understand that, that's why I said teacher. He is the great master teacher, rabbi, because he's accelerating the process. The stuff he went through and experienced, we're able to see it. And when you come to church, when somebody ministering and sharing it, they're walking you through the word. It should be something you do on your own. It should be in the word. So when you hear somebody you're part of, and I'm chasing a rabbit now, squirrel, it should be confirmation of what you already been practicing and doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Coming from Judges is actually the perfect transition into Ruth, right? Because right in the middle of the chaos in Judges, God tells a quiet story.
Come on, what do
you say? Tells a quiet story of Ruth. While the nation is falling apart, and you talked about this in your sermon today, while the nation was falling apart spiritually, a story is being revealed and told. So Ruth is, and I remember last year we talked about Ruth and Naomi a little bit, and I was just like, Ruth sounds like the older person. It's just the name. So for a long time, she got the senior citizen name. Yeah, for a long time, I kept trying to make Ruth the mother and Naomi the daughter-in-law.
Sound like the mother of the church, Mother Ruth.
So for a long time, I would just mix up the names, but I think I got the names together now. So Ruth shows how that even when a nation drifts, God is still faithfully working through individuals to fulfill his promise. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because remember, the promise was made in Genesis.
Okay.
How does each book begin to unravel or unfold this promise? So the book of Ruth, it shows how God uses the individual to unfold or fulfill his promise.
Right.
So here we are in the book of Ruth. Ruth is a woman from Moab. So I think it's called Moabite, right? Yeah. She's a Moabite. Her mother-in-law, Naomi, is from Bethlehem. She's an Israelite. Her husband dies. Well, they move to, where they go? They leave Bethlehem and go back to, they leave Bethlehem.
They leave Bethlehem
and go to
Moab. Moab, and then they leave Moab to go back to Bethlehem.
So while there, of course, both of her sons died. So it's just her and her daughter-in-laws, and she had two sons. So it's her and her daughter-in-laws. There are no grandchildren. So everybody really is kind of just free to go their separate ways. But Naomi obviously saw something in Ruth. I mean, dang it, I did it. Ruth obviously saw something in Naomi.
And then vice versa.
I know it's because of the name.
You good.
And I thought I had it. But Ruth obviously saw something in Naomi.
Right.
Something about her resilience, her spirit. And I want to say I'm almost 100% sure the way that she remained faithful to her God, even though she couldn't see him, hear him, or touch him physically, because y'all know they were doing all the idols and all that stuff. That's why they kept falling into sin and all that old stuff. But for Ruth to watch Naomi, she had to have seen this and say to herself, there is something about this woman and the God that she serves. Yeah. So although she had an opportunity to leave and she can start life over, remarry, have kids, she told Naomi, where you go, I go. Your God will be my God. You keep saying where you die, I'm going to die, all of that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Naomi, I'm going with you. Regardless. So she goes with her mother-in-law, not knowing if there is going to be an opportunity for her to remarry, or if she's just going to be a widower like her mother-in-law. Or y'all going to be two widowers taking care of each other, just trusting that God is going to make a way. Like,
how does this work?
Like, how is it going to work? And you said it perfectly today in your sermon when you were talking about moving on a maybe.
Moving on a maybe.
Maybe this is going to work. Maybe it's not. But what I know is I have enough faith in what I have seen and experienced in Naomi.
I'm not leaving her.
That I'm not going to leave her. Yeah. I'm going to trust God she serves. Yeah. Now, this is me speculating. Right. I am taking scripture, but I'm also using my holy imagination, and I'm putting two and two together because I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. Right. She has had to experience or see the glory on her or experience some power or something. Right. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, as I began to dig, the Moabites were actually enemies of Israel. And what was interesting is that, we know that Ruth. Did I do it right this time? Yes. We know that Ruth is from Moab. Right. And these people are deemed to be enemies of the Israelites. Yeah. God chose their enemy and used their enemy to eventually bring our Messiah. Yeah. A lot of times we cut people off, and now I'm here in 21st century, right? We cut people off. We take away from what they may bring to the table because they have been deemed or labeled an enemy. We don't like them. There's something about them. It's just not meshing. We're not clicking. We're not friends, right? But we've heard oftentimes how God will make your enemies your footstool. And I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm going to call her Moab. Ruth was a footstool, but she was used. For his glory and to make sure that the promise is fulfilled. And sometimes in our lives, we have to be open to it because you never know when it's going to happen. God will use our enemies to make sure that the promise that he has declared over our life is fulfilled. So we as individuals have to stop cutting people off so quickly.
Come on, Rabbi.
He played too much, right? Y'all see this, right? I mean, I feel it. I experience this every day.
I'm just saying,
but
come on,
do y'all see this?
Come on,
teach that in the chat.
Hey, come on,
G3 play too much.
Hey, come on, teach.
Anyways, I do feel that this is a lesson that I have learned just beginning to just dive into what Ruth is and how it ties to Jesus and all of that. Because I say this all the time, especially when I'm at work. People got one time.
Oh, come on.
When you show me one time, I'm done. And I may not be ugly. However, the communication and then that extra stuff that you just kind of do with your friends, I call it shoo-shooing and stuff. I can't. I can't. But I'm learning that sometimes that just may be a part of the process of helping to fulfill the promise and call that is in me and on me.
Yeah, people in place, and look at this. Just say they left Bethlehem because it's a family.
Mhm.
They get to Moab because evidently it's not a family. They leave Moab, went from a physical family with Bethlehem till Moab. They leaving underneath an emotional family
Mhm.
because now she done lost everything. But it just goes to show you, like you said, you just can't cut it off because it's just a 10-year difference. 10-year difference from the place you left because they didn't have to now you going back to. And of course, when they go back to, they're in the
have.
midst of harvest. But it just goes to show you, you can't just cut something off and be done with it. And that's a human nature. Oh, I'm just done with it. One person can be an enemy today and be a friend tomorrow. And sometimes you got to know that. But it don't mean to let yourself be vulnerable because Christian people think they have to be a doormat and let people
Mhm.
take advantage of it. That's not
Make
what I'm
that
saying. Anyway.
clear.
I just shared this with our son this morning at 3. Me and him was talking. I said I don't recall anything I done in life that I didn't do it scared, fear. But fear is false evidence appearing real. But I told him this uh, First Timothy talk about this. I'll say 2:7, if I'm not mistaken, where it say, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a love, power, and a sound mind. And I told him that he gave us a sound mind to know when to use our love and when to use our power. And people don't talk about that. They think as a believer, you always display love. But another form of love that we overlook, which is discipline. Sometimes you got to inflict discipline on people to show them that you love them. That's why I say stuff like this. If you spat a raw, you hate the child. He talking about discipline. But what you're talking about here is so powerful because there's a 10-year difference between them leaving Bethlehem, going to Moab, and then leaving Moab broken to come here, which is crazy. When they leaving, watch this, Naomi is Ruth saving grace to go to Bethlehem, house of bread. But that's Ruth coming out of Moab.
Mhm.
But when she get to Bethlehem, roles switch. Ruth become Naomi saving grace because her connection that she's going to have with Boaz. So
Yeah.
it changed their whole trajectory in life because now she become a wealthy woman because of that. And then Naomi get blessed. So much stuff, I ain't even get to this. The scripture said that, now you know this how you know it's the miracle power of God. It said that Naomi nursed Ruth and Boaz's child. How did she nurse him? That's a whole nother.
That really is because
But we can get into all that because it goes to show you it's where they at, the location of it. That one thing can be dried up, and God will reverse something so much that he'll open up something that's a famine and he'll make it plentiful. So this is a woman that's in her famine years that she shouldn't be nursing. But then remember everything about I told you, it's a small picture, the big picture. It's the milk, it's the nursing of it. That's what Israel gonna be. It's when they talk about the big breasted God. It's the milk. It's that promise, the land flowing of milk and honey. He's writing this so you can see it, that he'll make a place that should be a dry place. Should be. Come on, man. There's so much promise in there, but it just goes to show you those roles reverse because you never know what God's gonna do. Like you said earlier, this woman is upset with God, almost at the point that she bitter with God that she changed her name from Naomi to Mara, called me, because she done lost her joy. She's bitter, she angry, she's sorrowful. But Ruth still sees something in her. Like whatever that happened before that, it must was such an impact in her life, even in you in your stupor. I'm not leaving that because I know what's on you. Even with the nonsense that you on right now, because it said that the lady stopped talking to her. It said that she got, so that means, and this is just me talking, she could have traveled all the way from Moab to Bethlehem because they don't pick back up until they get there. I mean, that whole travel time, she ain't saying that. Okay, you don't want to listen or whatever, you don't want to follow. Imagine her in the attitude. You like, where you go, I'm going. Regardless, you might not want to
Naomi, you might well stop all that. I'm still here.
Period. And it goes to show you that her light was such amazing light. She don't even know that she's this girl saving grace. You saving this girl from Moab. You saving the enemy of Israel. She coming into the household of faith because of you, because of your light. But you can't see it because of what you're going through. And that goes to what I said one time before. Sometimes we let our predicament change our perception of Christ. Because I'm going through such a hard time, it ain't no way. But no, he used a hard time. Because watch this now. If she wouldn't have never went to Moab, because she probably said that she went because she lost everything, you would have never picked up Ruth. You never pick up Ruth. Ruth never meet Boaz. Ruth never meet Boaz. You don't get Obadiah. You don't get Obadiah. You don't get Jesse. Don't get Jesse. Don't get David. Don't get David. You don't get the 42 generations later where you get Jesus. meaning all this rest on her going to Moab to lose.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you the details. I disturb your spirit, make you leave Bethlehem, the house of bread, to go to the place of water, but I sent you there so you could lose. But I only sent you there for you to lose so you could bring back what's necessary to sustain you. But I can't tell you the losing part. See, this is what we preach on. We get happy and shout because we know her finished product of her testimony.
Yeah.
That lady didn't want to lose her husband and her kids. You mean to tell me I gotta lose all that just to turn around and go back? Now I gotta face the people that know I left with them.
Yeah.
But then you did all that so you could sustain me forever. She part of the legacy of Christ because of her obedience.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you about what you're about to lose. And that's how with our thing with God. Our preacher said you got to trust him when you can't trust him. Because if he told you all the details, you wouldn't want it. You mean I got to go through all that hell to get over here where's the blessing at? Because remember when they showed up to Bethlehem, they showed up in reaping season. I told y'all, you can run out the door right there. I didn't plant nothing. I didn't put nothing in the ground. I ain't toiling the sun or nothing. But when I show up, everybody eating. Yeah. That's enough by itself that they return.
Taking that too.
They return on a miracle. They return in something that they didn't have. And then it says she gleaning in the field. I mean, she picking up behind everybody else that been there the whole time. That's how he gonna do it. Some people coming in last minute. You about to get the overflow, even though you don't even deserve to get it. He's just gonna open up doors for you. He's gonna open up opportunities. Promotion coming. Know your resume ain't adding up. It's just gonna open anyway. And I told somebody, this ain't for you if you don't believe it. I ain't even trying to get you to understand it because it's not gonna make sense because it's not have nothing to do with logic, but everything to do with your spirituality and your connection to hearing the voice of God.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, we're gonna go to church.
Look,
we go to church.
Because you was going to church and I just was
saying it's a lot. I said,
service.
listen, I ain't get a chance to cover a lot in that text. I had to try to get out of there. Then I'm trying to stretch my wings a little bit with Charles. Happy birthday, Charles. Trying to get them in there, so get them plugged in. That's good stuff though.
So something that I find interesting is that and I've already said that how God uses your enemies, right? Now we know that the children of Israel, they stayed in a perpetual cycle: rebel, oppression, more decay. They cry out, God deliver. They rebel, and they was in oppression, more decay. They cry out, and God would deliver. Something that I'm seeing here, though, is how even in all of this chaos, and if y'all remember, Judges end with talking about in those days there was no king of Israel. Then if you think about how Ruth begins, it says in the days when the judges ruled, right?
Yeah.
This shows like this whole transition from Judges into Ruth. It shows me that even in all of that chaos, in all of the moral decay, the oppression, the rebellion, all of that, God still was using people. Like he would still reach way down. We hear that all the time. He had to reach way down. He reached down. And if there was just one, he used that one to change a generation. Yeah. So what I'm looking at, okay, this nation is oppressed. This nation collectively as a community, as a group of people, they have rebelled. They are not honoring God. They have forgotten. This nation have. But there was this woman who did not forget. And because she didn't forget, her daughter-in-law saw that. She saw her heart. She saw that there was something different about you. And I choose to believe that she wanted to know about the God that her mother-in-law served. Yeah. In that, I believe God started dealing with Ruth. He started touching her heart because why would you? If it had not been for God, if it had not been for his hand and his guidance, why would you choose when you're still young enough to go to stay where you at, remarry, have kids, Why would you choose to move on to maybe? I'm going to go with her. Maybe it's going to work. Maybe we'll have somewhere to live. Yeah. Maybe we'll find a job. Yeah. Maybe I'll find another husband. Maybe she'll find another husband, take care of me. That's a lot of maybes. There is no certainty there. So I choose to believe that God was already working on her because he was cultivating something in her and preparing her. So while she's working in the field, while she is gathering and working, and listen, y'all go and watch that Tyler Perry version, Ruth and Boaz, because it was a vineyard. She was out there getting grapes and making wine and all the stuff. It's a good little version.
They working on.
But while she is working, she's being prepared. And I'm jumping a little bit ahead because this picture back here, and I see it. She over here working in this field, gathering wheat and whatever else, gleaming, as the Bible says. She's working, and while she's working, she's being prepared. Then later on, we're going to find out this young fella was over here on this side.
You put it all together.
He's working, and while he's working, he's being prepared. What I see is God is no longer necessarily looking at, okay, these are my chosen people, right? Yeah. He's looking at, I'm looking at this individual with a heart for me. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at this person's character now. Because if you think about it, and I'm still jumping. I didn't mean to go this far like this. But when you think about when David had to replace Saul, it wasn't about his stature. It wasn't necessarily, I mean, we know it had to be the lineage, right? But it wasn't, it was about his heart. Yes. That's why we always quote David was a man after God's heart, because God is now looking at their heart posture, not their position, not their title, not their wealth, but the heart posture.
Yeah, where your heart is.
So he was able to preserve or to fulfill the promise through somebody who was deemed as the enemy.
Come on now.
A Moabite woman, she deemed as the enemy, but her heart says something different. Yeah. My heart don't say that I'm an enemy of God. My heart is saying that I desire to be a friend of God. So much so, I'm moving on this maybe. Just so I can get to know him. So as they transition back to Bethlehem and she's learning their ways and she's working and all of that, he's preparing me. He's working on her. He's preparing her. And you said, what was it that Boaz saw in her? Like, it's so many people out there working. What was it about her?
Something different about their work.
God was preparing her. I choose to believe that there was a certain glory on her.
Come on now.
That was not just appealing to his physical, but it had to appeal to his spiritual too, because I'm pretty sure it was a lot of bad girls out there, but it was something different about that bad girl named Ruth.
And as he investigated the story too, we didn't get a chance to get into that, but as you go throughout the chapter, it's a series, because he even tell her about how she honored Naomi. He's telling her this, so this is what you're looking at. That's the reason why, because she said what at the end of it, once he tell her she could stay in those fields and she could glean from these fields, say, what is it about me? She asked that question. Said, because I heard about how you treated Naomi, with her being connected to my, I think it was an uncle, something along the line. I would say uncle, cousin, how we acknowledge her husband that passed away, how you stick with her and stay with her. That's what he watching. So then he watched, and then as the progression happened, when I said she go for wisdom and asked Naomi what should she do, said lay at his feet and put his blanket over you and then do whatever he tell you to do. Lo and behold, he even tried to offer her in a sense to somebody that's younger, like, hey, y'all take it, whatever, but you had to keep her name, protect her, and keep the legacy. They didn't want that, so he ended up marrying, because everybody don't get into the story like Boaz just right there. He was like, because you would even stick and connect with me being an older man when you could have went for a younger man. So he's watching her humility, how she's moving different, how she's choosing different. She's a wise woman at a young age, but the only reason why she's wise like that because of Naomi. He's listening. She's listening to the wisdom of this woman tell her what to do, which is gaining her favor with this man. Ooh, that's a lesson for anybody. You're trying to work your relationship, you need to go somebody that sees, that know what they're talking about. Reason why Naomi can tell her how to handle a man, to move as a wife, because
been there,
man,
life experiences.
She telling you from her experience and the knowledge that she had. So it must have been something about that she was willing to listen to this woman, testify and walk her through this success. And then lo and behold, because of this commitment and faithful to honor this woman, she ended up saving the whole house. Everybody ended up blessed. Man, when you could just be obedient, there's something about it that opened up the door to cover everybody that's connected to the person that's being obedient. That's a lot by itself.
Yeah.
You go to church on that.
And you did. You did.
You do. I got a little bit.
He even tried to hoop a little bit.
Well, come on now, me and Charles. Hey, we learn each other. So in that, so it's heavy, which lead us into, because we're at the halfway point, lead us into 1 Samuel, because you mentioned a little bit, you kind of went there already, but you don't get David without this.
So I was gonna do the
go ahead, walk through it.
So Ruth and Boaz,
talk to
they get married.
Come on now.
They have a child,
kissing
Obed,
and hugging. Mm-hmm.
And Obed fathers Jesse, and Jesse fathered David. So now here we are in Samuel.
Okay.
And Samuel, it's a lot in Samuel too.
Now, going to that, with him being a prophet, hearing the voice of God, Samuel started early.
But before you do that, number one, how did Samuel get to where he was?
That's what I'm
saying. Eli and his children.
But even the children were horrible.
They were scoundrels.
But remember this though, God skipping over Eli to speak to Samuel.
Because his people was so messed up. His chosen ones, the high priests and stuff. Eli was letting his kids just do anything, get away with stuff. Y'all done heard they be saying PK kids be the worst ones.
Oh man,
this PK kids was bad. They was taking the sacrifice men for God. They was sleeping with the women who working there.
What?
Like they was doing all.
They were doing that in church.
Yeah,
church folks do that.
So all the stuff y'all be hearing, it ain't new. It ain't new stuff. I mean, it's
what it is.
My mama said there's nothing new under the sun.
Oh man, that's your mom quoting Bible.
My mama said before I even knew it was in the Bible. My mama said that. So they just out here doing wrong, not honoring God, all the things. I even read that Eli hadn't got fat from eating what was meant to be sacrificed.
Man, they real ratchet, and this goes to show you he lost his way. But then I do give him credit for when Samuel do get up, thinking it's him calling him.
Oh yeah, he directing him correctly.
He do recognize that it's something different about him, and that's the thing about it, man. God will jump around someone to speak to, and so here it is. He started.
And if you abuse what he gives you, just know there's somebody else, and that's exactly what happened. Eli's children weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they just put a bad name on preachers, right? Yeah. Eli wasn't putting his foot down and say, "Oh no," like he was looking at them like they father, but not standing in the position of the high priest. Because the high priest would have said, "Oh no, there is no way you would dishonor the house of God. There is no way you would dishonor this call," so forth and so on. Yeah. So because of the tarnishing that they did of that position, God overlooks them, and He sees Samuel here. I was reading how Eli was in the back sleeping. Samuel was sleeping on the floor near the Ark of the Covenant. Right. This made me think. Like I'm thinking, Samuel desired to know God differently, to hear God's voice for himself. Like the position that the Bible is talking about was where he's sleeping. It made me feel and think, okay, he was yearning for this thing. He wanted this thing so bad. Probably because he admired Eli in the beginning, and you see people do wrong sometimes and it can turn you off and make you feel some type of way. But I choose to believe that he still honored what he at least had before. So God speaks to him. Eli tells him, hey, and just say, okay, Lord, I'm listening. Yeah. So he does that. God gives him a word for Eli. He tells Eli what thus says the Lord.
Yeah.
He received the word. Like, now you, Samuel, you are now the judge. You are now the high priest. Yeah. You are the prophet now. So Samuel got work times 3. Samuel has work he has to do, but he's listening and God is speaking, because now I'm looking at your heart position. I can't look at these positions because these titles and positions that made y'all forget. Same thing Moses was talking about over in Deuteronomy. He was telling them, don't forget where you come from, but you ain't no slaves no more, okay? Yeah. I don't want you to forget where you come from, because you got to remember, because it's going to make you appreciate where you at. Yeah. They forgot and they got used to the position and all the accolades and publicity and all the things that come with
Go to
it.
work.
God was like, I don't have time for that. We got to get the Messiah here. So, because my redemptive plan that I told you about way back in Genesis. So let's get this ball rolling. Okay, Eli, you and your lineage done with that. Samuel, let's do this thing.
Say, open the door for
And did.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Right.
But without him, Saul wouldn't have been established as king.
Yeah.
Without him, God wouldn't have never spoke to him and said, hey, I'm done with him.
Yeah.
Like his heart is not right.
Yeah, he don't.
So God is looking at hearts, right?
Gotta wash his hands up.
Ruth's heart looks at Samuel's heart. Now Saul finna get fired. Well, Saul is fired. He's still in position
On the job.
but he's
fired on
there
job.
because David is over here in this field being prepared. Remember, I told you Ruth was in her field working, and while she was working, she was being prepared. Same thing with David. He in his field tending to them sheep. He's working while he's being prepared for the position he's about to take.
Back in the field working. Like Ruth.
You got to go to work. You said that earlier. You was like, you got to work.
Gotta go to work.
Or while you're working,
what?
Realize he's preparing you. He's working on you while you working.
I'm gonna tell you something that's heavy, and we kind of move past when we go into it. We started off with Samuel being in the house with the prophet and hearing God's voice and coming to the prophet, and let him tell him next time that boy speak to you, say, "Here I am, Lord." That's how I heard it, but we bag up just a little bit for the sake of time. We can go back to Hannah, his mama, being drunk, or saying she's drunk, but she praying so hard. That the man of God thinks she's drunk.
Yeah.
So it's the same man of God we say loses weight. He think because he's not spiritually discerning that this woman is in honest prayer. She wants something from God, which what she wants is Samuel. She wants a son because of Elkanah's wife, Peninnah, is having multiple sons. And then not only having more sons, but she
had to be in her feelings.
She teasing me.
Yeah.
But then Elkanah letting her know you my favorite. Like, but that don't matter. I'm your favorite. I don't have.
God honor her.
Then honor her, but she keep her commitment because she gives Samuel back. That's what we had today. You on the hill because that woman kept her commitment to God. Because if you bless me with him, I'm gonna give him back to you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So then she give him back to God because God gave it her. Which for every parent right now, if you just realize that it's your job to give your kids back to God, that's a whole nother word. That's our word. Give it back to God. So in that his grace and this is just me, he's walking in what I call generational blessings. The reason why he used Samuel so powerful is because what he owed Hannah. This don't have nothing.
Prayer she prayed.
Because he too young to been and did something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why he using him so greatly is what I told your mama. He's still in the bed. You ain't did nothing. You ain't did nothing to get God grace and mercy and glory to flow through you like that.
Yeah.
But because of what I said to your mama, I'm gonna start using it. He started telling him in his sleep. Like this bigger than you, Sam. This between me and Hannah, the reason why I gotta do it. So the reason why he was so great and mighty, because they were just saying he wasn't the greatest prophet, going into it. You get into the different ones, but he one of the great ones you hear about, so much so, First Samuel, Second Samuel, you got it, But it just shows how powerful he is, and I believe, like I said today, it's certain things we walk in. We like to focus on generational curses, but we don't focus on generational blessings. He's a walking miracle. That's why he's able to perform miracles, because he's literally the embodiment of a prayer.
Exactly.
His existence, meaning his essence of who he is only because it's an answer prayer. So when you see Samuel, you see a walking prayer. Man, come on.
That's really good.
Man, you can go to church by Samuel because just his mama, just man. So when she finally get him, but just enough to give it back, which is the same thing you see in Genesis with Abraham to get Isaac back, which is the same thing you're going to see in the Gospels when God gives Jesus back. Come on now. It's all showing you. Because every small picture is a picture of the big picture.
Covenant unfolding, just constantly unfolding, different
constantly
layers.
Giving their sons back. Yeah.
Yes. It's really good though.
Yeah, we got it.
So this is what I saw. So in Genesis, the Abrahamic promise. right? He talked about his descendants. He didn't look at the sky and
Yeah.
the
Come on,
stars
talk.
and the sand and all of that. And as we have been going through these books, we have been seeing that promise fulfilled.
Mhm.
We've been seeing it unfold. But then he also makes a promise. I can't get words out this
You
morning.
good. You
He
good.
also makes a promise to David.
Mhm.
So how you say it? Davidic promise, Davidic promise. I don't know how
Yeah.
you say that. But he also made a promise to David, telling him that his line, his lineage will be on the throne forever,
Mhm.
right? This is me trying to put myself in their position, make it more real for me, right?
Mhm.
I'm David. God done told me that. And David had, all these children with the different wives he had and all that. So it could very well, you could be thinking one of my sons is going to keep this going. And God said forever. So my name is written in history.
Yeah.
Because it's going to keep coming down to me, right? He could have been thinking that way, but knowing David got a man, not a God, but a man after God's heart.
Yeah.
He probably didn't think that way. I'm saying for me, because I like to put myself in, because I'm trying to process it, right? Our human mind sometimes can't fathom. Like you talking about forever. I'm not seeing the promise that was made all the way in Genesis because my right now is so big, it's so blinding. I can only see the right now. But because Ruth was married to Boaz, the promise of David already start unfolding before he even got it.
Before it became clear.
Before he even got it. A promise was made indirectly because of the promise that was made way in Genesis. All of this is tied together and it's unfolding as one big, beautiful story to get us to where we are here in the 21st century, right?
The whole scenario is the
whole Bible.
Yeah.
It's just a collection of stories that tell one big story,
66
right?
books of
66 books that are telling us one story. And as I go through each book, this layer is getting unfolded. This layer is getting unfolded. And I'm looking at two promises that were made and how they all, it's like they are connected, but I done tied them all back to Genesis.
Yeah.
God kept delivering them children to Israel all because of the promise he made. Like, I know that your people, your chosen people, all that stuff, but it's bigger than them. There was a promise made because this son of man got to come and crush the head of this serpent. This son of man got to sit on this throne forever. This son of man got to come and deliver these people and all this stuff. Like, the promise that was made way back when, even though he didn't say way back when, hey, David, because David went there. He didn't say it, but because of the promise he made then, it makes the promise that he just made to David and Samuel a little more relevant. Now I can tie these things together because they're fitting together like puzzle pieces.
Yeah, everything connected. The whole thing being connected.
Child, if y'all not getting this, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh, that's how you come. That's how you come.
I don't. But the crazy thing is, growing up, and this is why you have to have someone who is a teacher, like who is passionate about making sure you understand the content and the context, right? No shade to how we learn the Bible, but I will say it's like I knew some of the most popular stories because we hear them, we recite them all the time.
Easily preached.
You get into religious cliches and things of that sort, and you're just getting like you're skimming the surface of it. You're skimming the surface.
They call them biblical blankies.
Biblical who?
Biblical blankies.
Blankies
is what you run and get. Like a kid go get his little blanket.
Listen, I'm telling y'all. Yeah. I'm telling y'all.
But when you start digging,
you have got to go into this word and start digging for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you have got to start reading and understanding. Yeah. And if you pose the right questions, you will see things a little bit differently. Yeah. I had to do that. however
But
many years later.
But I would say too, since we're on this, we kind of outside, but it's still good because it related to BYOB. This how BYOB started. It's the neglect of Sunday school. We went from being educated to being entertained.
Yeah.
So you wanted to cut all that stuff out. I remember taking Sunday school. You get up Sunday school review. Then the fourth Sunday was student teacher Sunday, where the student had to teach the class. That's how I ended up with the Bible and church. But then you had to get up and do Sunday school review. We need a male and a female to do it. Then you got the male and female teachers. Then you go to junior class and keep going. Then the Sunday school superintendent Sunday school superintendent come up and they give you the lesson name. This is what we was talking about today. So they bring it all together from all the classes. Then we took up offering. Then you had a break in between service where you go get snacks and all that stuff. All that stuff got eradicated. With the new generation, nobody trying to be at church all day. We ain't got time for this. So you just getting a hot sermon. Then I told somebody it's really crazy because you want it done in 30 minutes. That you trying to get all this wealth of knowledge and you trying to get that person to do it in front of the pulpit. And that's go to decline because now you ain't educated. Because whatever you don't know, you destined to repeat.
Education definitely important. I'm telling you.
Back to what you're saying in the scripture about them Israelites, the reason why they kept probably no leadership, and then they weren't able to remember. You weren't able to remember. And
nobody was reminding them of the story.
And that's why I always say BYOB is Sunday school on steroids. It's us getting into the hands of people's pocket where you can take this with you, go back, look at the words, see what we talking about, go back and research that up, Google this, and you can always do this at the comfort of you driving your car or you at home. They give you the whole week to digest on purpose, and then it's to build that content long term. And I was like, man, I just wish people had great Sunday school teachers like we had Weezy that introduced different books. You had Missionary Pinson that introduced us to, now she wanted to have a whole goes good time, but you had Weezy definitely with the different books. For me, she put them in my lap. Mama Carol introducing me to different books. Same thing at that time, you Pastor Eric Williams, school teacher, bringing the teaching into the service. I remember him with the whole whiteboard in the middle of the service. Like, bro, why you got a white? He up preaching and he on the board, but on point, he was taking the time teaching. And that's kind of what the church then went off. And once again, I think I said this during the service. I said the church just in metamorphosis. We actually going through a major transition and shift in the body of Christ that is looking different. Our dressing different, our music different. You got people tatted up. You got preachers with earrings on. You got people with dreads. It's just everything changing. People with suits, no suits on. Hoodies on, no suits. You got people got Stacey Adams on. People got J's on. It's us trying to redefine and find ourselves, and it's looking ugly right now. Be honest with you, it's looking ugly right now. That's why people talking about church looking ugly, but it's on purpose because as we blossom and transition, that's what God trying to do. And I don't trip because like you just read in text, Prophet and them, they fell backwards. One of them glutton, he eating the holy food. His son's doing whatever. He ended up dying because he fall and break his neck. But it's all the process. As the changing of the guard happened for Samuel to come on scene. Excuse me. I believe all that we're going through is allowing us to see uprising of a generation. Look at where we at. We in an event studio versus a church or a traditional
tabernacle.
Come on, tabernacle. What we got the steeple and the cross. It's just totally different. We're on camera. You got the stage. You got the backdrop. This wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Just the environment that we're in. But it's on purpose because during this transition, it's meant for the church to grow and blossom. So I'm happy. And I'm glad we're able to be a part of the transition. We're just bringing our piece to the table. And like I said once before, it's the breaking of the bread, the argument in the church. You upset because of my piece of bread. You thinking that you got the whole loaf. You don't. You got a piece. Yeah. And your piece, you speaking in tongues over there, but we need faith too. They talking about prosperity over there. We need the money too to speak in tongues so we can pay the bills. We need all of it working together. But right now, everybody beefing and arguing and had it. And that's why I'm glad the Old Testament. Because you see it. It ain't like you just not saying that mess ain't just started. they were drinking and eating the communion and doing all. So you said sleeping with women. So I'm like, when people get to talking, I say, hey man, can you believe the church today? They doing all that. What would you? I say, hey, you must ain't read that Bible. They were doing some God awful things in that Bible. That's why he whooped them boys out of temple like that. The Bible I didn't read, y'all be lying on us, man. Them boys, they were ratchet in the Bible.
I'm gonna tell you, and I done told y'all especially when we first started. I was trying to stay away from that Old Testament. Because
Yeah, it's
number
a
one,
lot.
I couldn't pronounce their
It's T in
name.
there though.
I was falling asleep, and I was like,
It's
"Who is
T.
this? Begat? Why you can't say it this way?" So I was reading it in the NIV version, and it was making sense. Then it made me go back and look at the King James version, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, there is a lot of T in the text for sure."
I'm gonna say this because we're getting ready to wrap it up, but I think what you said was good about David, that it said that the throne would always be in his bloodline. But look what his flesh get him into. When he killed Uriah behind Bathsheba, one, that's his best friend. That's a whole nother story by itself. Because of his sin, condemnation. That's why Paul says in Romans, now there is no condemnation, those in Christ Jesus. Condemnation to make you do something crazy. You can't get this man to go sleep with his wife because he's so faithful and committed to you, to the mission that you're trying to do, to you so doggish. You send him with the envelope to kill himself. First of all, that made me question you, right? Because you're supposed to be from Africa. If you are people, you don't know how you didn't read your own death notice that you sent. Because it been me, I would put it up to the light. Let me see what love. But anyway, he killed a man for Bathsheba. Long story short, firstborn lose his son, secondborn Solomon. But then the prophet Samuel come tell you. So when you come to that, that's Nathan, because that's why
Nathan
that's why I say why I mess with his name by him. His boldness to challenge leadership. That's how great Nathan was in the Bible, as far as a prophet. He comes say, "You are the man." David fall down weak. That's how David, man, I'm going hard. Anybody else would have been arrogant. Who you think you talking to? I'm the king. No, David broke in the knees, prayed, and went there. But then the word was, because you did this, the sword will forever be in your house. You got the throne gonna forever be in your lineage, but it's gonna always be hell being raised in your house because you didn't control your flesh.
We're gonna talk about that next week too.
We speak to every man. If you don't learn to control your flesh, you'll find you bringing curses upon your own house. Now your whole generation got to deal with this sword because you didn't deal with your flesh. Because you weren't willing to fight your flesh, we got to fight this demon that you didn't let in the family for the rest of our lives, you know? So it's just something to speak to that. And I just thought about that because you're saying about the kingdom. So
I actually will talk about it more next week, but I thought about how when he says the sword will forever be in y'all's house, I was like, ooh, they got to fight all the time? Yeah. That's what you use a sword for. Yeah. Then I thought about even today, 2026, who's fighting?
The sword.
Them Israelites still fighting.
The sword.
When he said forever, he meant forever.
I'm talking about, man, when you hear them interviews, they hate each other, bro.
Baby.
You be like, y'all don't want to try to
I made the kids at school go on a deep dive. I chased the rabbit, they had the squirrel screaming, we chased squirrels. I chased the squirrel, I made them chase the squirrel. I made them go write a paper on it. Go look up the history. Why? Here go y'all 3 historic events, research those and give me a paper.
And you watch them, it don't seem like they make a decade apiece. They don't get a 10 years apiece. Like within a 10-year radius, it's always a war with them.
Always something.
Always
when
some
he said
genocide.
Forever,
oh my goodness. Man, so I just, like I said,
the words of the prophet are still
2026.
Come on.
We're still in there forever.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, we are out of time. We're going to pick up with this on next week as we dive deeper into 1 Samuel, going into 2 Samuel on next week, because we are unfolding the story of ultimately our Savior, the redemptive plan that was established in Genesis. And we are revealing through the 66 books, the one story of all of our lives. We want to say thank you guys for tuning in with us. Thank you for sharing. I hope you guys chimed into the chat, because he be watching the chat. I be forgetting sometimes.
I got you.
But I am going to look a little bit later so I can see what this image was saying to you guys. What were you able to infer or interpret from this backdrop that we have
dropped
for
notes
today?
In the chat too.
You said, he dropped some notes in the chat. We want to say again, thank you for tuning in, guys. We're out of time, but not out of minutes. However, we need support so that we can continue to bring you this Bible study in this way. We need support in our Fifth Sunday endeavors. The church just needs support, right? And if you have found this to be a blessing to you, if you have found that Sunday school on steroids is enriching your life, it's making you see the scriptures different, it's getting you closer to God, you can sow into this ministry. You can do so by way of Cash App. That's ICANN 365. Impact Community Action Network 365 days out of the year. You can do so by way of Givelify. You can give with Impact DFW. You'll see a picture of my husband and myself, and you can give that way. Thank you for your seeds. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for sharing with us how this BYOB ministry, how Impact Church DFW has been a blessing to you. Guys, until next time.
We want to say grace and peace. Amen.